Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast with Core 4 Complete Fitness. Your episode is starting in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, we're on the streak.
I've
Hello,
always loved
peoples.
Always
Happy.
been
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, I've always been a big basketball fan. You know me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When they're in the playoffs, everybody jumps aboard.
Yep.
Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast, guys. Hopefully you guys are having a great day, having a great week so far, post-Easter week, post-holiday week, and that will be our little topic today. But before we get diving into this week's podcast, guys, if you could do us a favor, like always, subscribe to the podcast, whether you're watching us, listening to us, either on YouTube, Spotify, Audible, Amazon, or what is it, iTunes, podcast. We're everywhere. There's a little subscribe button. If you press it, you'll get notified right when we drop a new episode, so you can stay up to date on everything and you don't miss the podcast as they go along. And then you're like, crap, I'm 6 weeks behind. I got to catch up on everything. And we'll just notify you when a new one drops. Thank you very much. Now, today we're going to talk to you guys. It was Easter Sunday last Sunday. Obviously, everybody was busy with Easter stuff. And, whether it's Easter, whether it's 4th of July, whether it's Christmas time, those days after a holiday are the most important days to get back on track. And this might sound familiar to you guys, but how many times have you guys said, let's say it's after Christmas, and Christmas is done and Christmas was on a Thursday. And I get it, you're busy, you got stuff going on, there's presents everywhere, your house might be a mess. And then you're like, okay, Monday going to get back in the gym. And you're like, I got a week off of work, or the kids are out of school. I'll start this maybe on Tuesday. We got some cleaning up to do. And then Wednesday comes and you're like, well, I'm halfway through the week. Let's just start the upcoming Monday. And that little hesitation or 2 to 3 day blip on the radar turns into 1 week, turns into 2 weeks. And then before you know it, your whole routine is off a track. You haven't gone to the gym. You're eating like crap, and it begins to snowball. Same thing like with Easter Sunday, guys. People got stuff going on. I get it. Could have been that we had cardio day on a Monday to kind of zap you all those extra calories off. But a lot of us go, okay, Easter Sunday, day after, I'm going to take from the gym and just kind of take a decompression day. Listen to your body if you're injured, if you're sick or something like that. But those days after a holiday are super, super, super important to kind of get you right back on track. Because how many times have you said, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z? And usually this happens on the weekend or when it's a holiday week or holiday weekend. We have the best of intentions in our brain, but naturally we have this time off and we're like, oh yeah, Monday I'll be good to go. Monday comes, you got emails, kids go to school, and eventually that workout you were going to get kind of becomes the lowest thing on the totem pole, and you don't end up getting around to it. So what I recommend, guys, is as much as you don't want to do it, the day after a holiday, put yourself through the ringer. And you don't want to, you might not feel great, you might have eaten too much, whatever it is, carbs or candy, or had too much to drink or whatever it is. But that kind of sends your body that shock to the system where it's like, okay, I got all this gunk out of me. You break a really good sweat. You feel good. You have energy again. And you're like, okay, you're kind of seeing things clearly again instead of just in the depiction of I have time off work. It's a holiday. Things are slow. It kind of just gets you right back into whatever you want to call it, like kill mode again. And you're like, I'm good Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Let's get everything right back on track. But the habits that people get in is it's after a holiday. They tend to ease themselves into the week. Before you know it, it's Tuesday or Wednesday. Then they start negotiating with themselves. Oh, I'll pick everything up this following Monday. I'll be good to go. You take a week off. It turns into 2 weeks. You're sore. You might have to take an extra buffer day here and there. So after a holiday, after, a trip, you guys probably all know the Joe Rogan podcast, but he talks about that. And he goes, when I'm jet lagged, if I had a flight that the timing was weird and the time zones are different, he's like, I make it a point before I do anything. The first thing I do when I get in my hotel is give myself a super hard workout. Doesn't have to be, extremely long, but he's like 30, 40 minutes. He's like, I will just kick my ass. And he goes, it kind of snaps me out of that jet lag. I'm feeling good. I'm energized. I'm awake again. I feel like kind of that gunk in my system is gone. And he's like, I'm good to go for the remainder of the time that I'm at, whatever the destination is. But use kind of the day after those breaks or those holidays. And odds are you probably ate a little bit too many calories. You want to kind of get yourself back to normal, but use those little windows of opportunity, we'll call them, after a holiday to really go, okay, I'm going to push this today. I'm going to make sure I get my Monday done, and then that's going to lead into the rest of my week.
It's a way to recalibrate yourself in a hurry. The Joe Rogan thing that you mentioned is huge. When you travel, it doesn't even have to be flying. You're in a car for 4 or 5 hours. You know that feeling of just sluggish and bleh?
Yeah.
Well, we get that feeling after a holiday weekend where we've just been eating like crap and not moving our bodies like we usually do. We get that same feeling after we drink and we're hungover the next morning. That blah feeling, it's like the answer, end all, cure all, be all is high intensity. And I like that you said it doesn't have to be long. I think that part is very important. It can be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but if you spike your heart rate, get some muscles burning, and really go hard, it's the quickest calibration to get back into it. And after these holiday, using this Easter example, is when it's most important. So I make this schedule every single week in the gym, meaning if it's cardio day, lower, upper, whatever. And people yesterday morning came in. It was a slower day in the gym. Cardio days in general, people tend to avoid, and shouldn't, but people tend to avoid. And then it being a Monday, and then it being after a holiday, it was just kind of the perfect storm for, it might be a slower day in the gym. And a couple of ladies were in at the 8:30 or 9:30 class, and they were like, whose idea is it to put a cardio day right after a holiday? And we laughed, and all that kind of stuff. And I knew, as it went on, I went, well, it's kind of the best way to reset and get back into it. You could come in and do a pretty mundane's not the right word, but a slower paced upper body strength day or something like that. And it's not going to quite give you that regroup shift quite the same. You need to be jumping around and hustling and getting your heart rate up and spiking it, bringing it back down and calibrating, because it does this crazy thing to kind of reset and get you feeling normal again. And to be honest, I'm sure there's scientific reason why, and I'll be 100% honest to say I don't know. I'm not well versed on what it is, but I think mentally it's the okay, I've taken a break from doing hard shit for a few days. This is it. This is right. This is what I'm capable of doing. This is what I'm doing. Now we're back. And then, that kind of sets up the feeling and all the dopamine and endorphins and stuff you get from that. I think that has a huge play and role play in the position of why you are feeling better, why it is switching, why you're going, okay, now I'm back. Okay, after a long trip, I was in the car, I was on a plane, I took a red eye. Okay, now I'm back. Now I can function. Now I'm not just a zombie. Oh, I was a little hungover. We woke up, we played a hockey game. By the time the third period starts, you go, I'm fully sober as a bird. It's all sweat out of my system. I'm good. We can both attest to having those experiences for sure. So it's weird because it's like the one thing you don't want to do, especially if you're hungover. The last thing you want to do is run. But if you get up and get a workout in, it's the fastest way to cure the hangover. So it's tough because it's the one thing you don't want to be doing is the answer. They'd be like if you were thirsty and they said, well, the actual answer is don't drink water. It's like, wow, come on, that's hard. So I get it. But if we can kind of recalibrate ourselves to know that time after a travel, after a holiday, after anything that kind of shakes up our routine is the most important time to get back on track and do it in a hard way. We will really avoid long stretches of outside of the gym because those are the most susceptible days. Those are the days that when you do let, that bad wolf win and you don't work out, that's the easiest time where that one day turns into 2, turns into 4, turns into a couple weeks.
Agreed. We had when we went to Viv's dance competition last summer. Same thing. You wake up and you're stuck inside of a banquet room for hours on end, watching dance after dance after dance after dance.
Fun.
And you go stir crazy. But I made it a point. I think 3 or 4 days when I woke up, I just went to the hotel gym and just did a workout. Didn't like kill myself, but broke a sweat, felt good. And then I felt like I was good to go all day rather than just wake up and sit in a chair and watch dance after dance after dance for hours on end. But it does help perk you up. It does help wake you up. And then you're like, okay, I'm good to tackle the day. There's a funny story, but when we were in our younger years, we had a tournament, a hockey tournament in Toronto. And these tournaments, it's the whole team, and it's like 50 hockey teams from all different cities all meet in Toronto for this big tournament. And usually there's no wives. It's just a bunch of dudes. So what can go wrong? So everybody stays up super late, hitting the bars. And then everybody's excited the first night they're there, and then they forget. We have to wake up at 7 a.m. the following morning, and we have to play a game at, 9 o'clock, a game at noon, and another game at 3. And so everybody wakes up and they're like, how the hell are we going to do this? I feel like crap. And I remember the last time I went, I was like leaning over the face-off dot to take a face-off. And you could just feel like all the shit coming up in your belly. And I'm like, don't yak all over the ice. But first shift, you feel kind of wonky. Second one, you feel a little better. By the end of the first, you're like, good. And then the game is done. And you're like, I feel completely back to normal again. But part of it is because you sweat, you get your metabolism up, you're burning off all that shit that's in your body. And then you feel good to go. And then the game is over and you're like, okay, I'm good to do it all over again if I have to. But for a lot of us, we just stay in that rut for such a long period of time. And like you said, with the road trip thing, when you're sitting for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours, or you're in a car forever and you're tired and you're like, I can't drink any more coffee, I'm getting jittery. And it's just a mundane hold the wheel and just drive and drive and drive and drive. The best thing is, it might sound crazy, but even if you get out at a gas station, go for a 5 or 10 minute walk, just do some laps to kind of like get your blood pumping a little bit. And it makes a huge difference just in terms of your mental psyche. You feel like you're awake. You feel like you're good to go. You're not just pounding coffee and energy drinks every 2 to 3 seconds. And it just kind of helps recalibrate everything and gives you like a natural boost instead of just kind of staying stuck where you are.
Yeah, it's almost like it shakes you loose. Like you get into this funk because of what you've done the last 24 hours and you feel tired, you feel sluggish, you don't feel good because of what you've done, right? You've eaten poorly, you haven't exercised, you drank, you did all the stuff that we can do in moderation. However, even when you do it in moderation, at that time, you're feeling the effects of it. And it's like it shakes you loose of it, gets you back. But if we don't do it, like we can attest to it now as we're getting older, hangovers will last 2-3 days now. If you don't if you don't wake up and get after it and get moving as hard as it is, that it's gonna last a while. It's gonna be not until the following Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that you go, okay, I feel normal again. However, if you do it, and we're talking about booze and hungover, but it's to everything. That's how this whole thing started. It's just eating a bunch of cake and candy because it was Easter. I mean, Easter's a huge dessert holiday. I think more so than we think. It's candy all over the place. Chocolate
cupcakes
things.
And chocolate bunnies.
Jelly beans. And you're right, cupcakes and carrot cake and like all of this spring cookies. And at least for me, we had back-to-back days. Saturday was with Candace's family. Sunday was with my family. And it was just long days of just visiting and mingling and eating not well, as you do. And so, that Monday morning cardio workout came, and it was a little harder to get started, but by the time it ends, you go, all right, I'm back to what I did. I had my Easter. I ate outside of the lines. And it's okay. I'm a human being. I love carrot cake. I love cookies. I love my family. I'm gonna have a couple beers. I'm gonna eat a couple whatever, and it's fine. It's not. I'm a human. I can live my life. It doesn't mean I'm some horrible person. And in fact, if I spent the whole day sober as a bird and only ate chicken and broccoli, I would have lost out more so than I'm losing out by having this fun, relaxing day. So, but it's also your responsibility to get back on the horse and don't let that turn into 2, 3, 4, 5 days. It's almost like there's days of the calendar year that you gotta hit, and if you miss them, it's really upping your percentage that this is going to turn into a month off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you go up north one weekend and so you don't work out a Friday because you're going up north, you'll be in the car. Okay, who cares? Then you're just doing a long weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know when Monday comes, you're going to go back into your routine of the gym. It's normal. But if you have that long weekend and then that Monday you don't miss, the odds of bad happening missing that Monday after versus the Friday before is hugely different mentally with where our priorities are with fitness. So it's like there's more stake in workout days almost. Like if you're gonna miss the Fridays, but do not miss the Mondays. Or if you're gonna miss some, it's not after a holiday. It's whatever. It's a random sick day on a Tuesday because the kids' schedule got out of control on you. So it's almost like it'd be fun to have like a calendar and like make one. Like these are the ones you absolutely cannot miss. These are the ones that it's okay if you miss. These are the ones that go ahead and miss it. Block it out right now. You're not working out that day. That'd be a fun little experiment. See if that would make sense. Because it is. There's more weight to it. Because you don't get back on the horse. The next day you're still gonna feel shitty from Sunday, right? You don't
And
just
then you're
wake up
beating
Tuesday
yourself up mentally, like, oh, I
and you
let
have that.
myself down. I was
Yep.
supposed to go to the gym yesterday, and
Yep.
now, I bargained with myself and I lost, and now I got to start on Tuesday. And then let's say Tuesday something comes up. You're like, oh, Tuesday had this going on. Traffic sucked. I wasn't able to make it to the gym and grab dinner on time, so we had to order out. And
Yep.
then it begins to snowball. Where if you just said, this is my time that I'm going to do this, as much as I don't want to, if tomorrow is a complete train wreck, then it's a complete train wreck. But at least I know I did the stuff that I promised myself I was going to do. And if over the course of a week you have a crazy day here and there, it's not the end of the world because you got your Monday done.
We also feel the effects of those days later. Like if you just pig out on Sunday and then take a bunch of leftovers home and you have leftover cake and cookies and stuff in your house, and then it's Monday and you just like feel bad, feel crappy because of how you fueled your body the next day, you're a lot more like you're craving the sugars more, you're craving the bad stuff more, you're less high. There's a lot of things going on because of how we behaved yesterday that we are feeling. So we're more susceptible. When you're 2, 3, 4, 5 days into eating pretty clean, you don't even think about sugar. Cookies don't really look that good or sound that good. If it was there and someone was, gun to your head or eat this, you would obviously eat it. But it's very easy to turn that temptation off. However, if it's coming off a day of eating a bunch of sugar and cakes and stuff, and then they're still in your face, that's when it's like, okay, when I walk through the kitchen, I'm going to grab one of these cookies. When I walk past the M&M bowl, the candy bowl, oh, look, there's the Easter candy in there. But that's when it's tempting. So, we also have to play that game. We have to go, okay, now is when this stuff sounds good. This is when it's tempting. How do I get out of this? And you have to know, at the very least, you got to work out because you're going to have this stuff in your house for the next 2 days. So do something to break even. You know what I mean? Make sure you have a really protein-dense breakfast or whatever because, dinner time comes around and there's the leftover cheesy potatoes that your grandma makes that you love and you brought home a huge vat of them. Yeah, you might just throw that onto your dinner plate. Like it's just realistic. It's just and scientific of once you introduce this stuff, it sounds good for the coming days. If you don't introduce it, it doesn't. But once it's there, it is. So if we have a Saturday, Sunday weekend filled with cookies and stuff, Monday you're not just going to not want the cookies anymore. They're still going to be around, and you're going to be a lot more susceptible to how you usually would if you didn't have the whole weekend of eating them. So we got to put up our defenses a little bit. We got to know that. Okay, if I just sit around and skip the gym today, that's also going to be another day of me eating not perfect, as well as not working out and moving my body. And it's bad. It's a slippery slope. And then that turns into, Tuesday. It's still going to be there. So something needs to give. We got to get back on the horse. And the very best thing is an intense workout. Again, not long. That's very deterring if I go intense. Yeah, go, hour and a half, 2 hour workout. It could literally be 10 minutes. I don't care. But intense. You need to have the oh shit moment, as I like to call it, where you're going, whoo, heart rate's up. Wow, that was good. That was intense. It's important.
But if you think of it, we've touched on it before, and there's about 3,500 calories in about 1 pound of fat.
Yeah.
So if you reverse engineer it and you go, okay, Sunday was Easter or whatever holiday, you ate too much, you had too much candy, and let's say you ate an extra 600 calories by the end of the day. And then Monday comes, you got all the leftovers, and you have another 400, 500, 600 calories. You had some extra candy, you had some leftovers that were in the fridge, and you skip the gym again. And all of a sudden, Tuesday comes, you got the sugar in your body, and you sugar everywhere, you haven't eaten it all. And you're like, well, I'll grab a handful of M&Ms as I'm talking on the phone, or I'll grab a handful of this, an extra 300, 400 calories. And you can see how by week's end, all of a sudden a pound comes up, a pound and a half comes up, all from those little deviations that you did
Right.
over the course of a week. So
Right.
what I usually recommend for people is, enjoy the holiday in itself. Don't beat yourself up if you had a piece of cake or you had a cookie on Easter. But it's always the days following that are the most important. So if you're somebody that's like, the minute I see sugar or candy, I open it up, put it someplace where you don't have that mental trigger to remind you all the time, oh my gosh, we have these tempting me. And every time I go in the kitchen, these cookies are looking at me. It's a you versus you battle for 24 hours a day. And all it takes is one slight moment of weakness for you to cave in and undo all that progress. So if you have kids or you keep it in the house, put it someplace that is not easily accessible. I recommend either hiding it inside of your garage, put it inside the microwave, put it in a pantry where the door is closed, so that way behind this door. It's the out of sight, out of mind trick. You're not thinking about it because it's not readily visible, as opposed to having it laid out everywhere and you're walking around, you rip open a bag, eat it, you walk around a little bit more. Oh, I found another one, you eat it. And then by the end of the day, you're like, I had 600 extra calories from these little bite-sized snacks or candies that the kids had laying around. And it just takes the whole temptation out of it, or that's in the situation, completely out of it.
Yeah, it's we're goldfish brains, like I always say. We're just dumb, stupid people, and we just follow along. It's the same thing as bringing a whole bag of chips to the couch, or pouring a bowl of a serving and taking it to if it's there, we're just gonna eat it. So making it easy and just having a bunch of cookies on display throughout your kitchen, yeah, you're gonna walk through and you're gonna grab. But if they're all wrapped up in cellophane and foil and stored away in whatever storage thing you want, it's a lot easier to be like, I'm not going to deal with that. Like, do you ever do that? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Then I got to unwrap
It's
it.
like 10
it's so
seconds
hard.
of work, but it's 10 seconds you don't want to do. You're like,
I
whatever,
know, but
I'll
we
just
go,
have something else.
It's not worth it. I'm not going to get this out. We do that. We make bread, and we have to put it in these bread bags because it's just fresh made bread. There's no crap in it. So it's 3-4 days it's stale. So you have to keep it in this bag. And it's been like, there'll be a time where I'm like, man, I could really go for just a nice bread and butter slice right now, or something, peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I go, I got to unwrap the bag. I got to cut the bread. Then I got to cut, and I got to get the peanut butter
There's
out.
crumbs everywhere. I got to clean up the crumbs.
Make a mess. I got to clean up my mess. I go, I'm just not doing it. And it's so funny just how lazy it is, but it helps. It helps me from not cheating on the goal that I want to. So it is funny though. However, if there was just fresh sliced bread and all the ingredients just sitting out in front of me, or a made peanut butter and jelly just sitting there, oh yeah, I'm grabbing that thing every time. So, yeah, I mean, it's accepting the dumbness of us all. we are kind of we just follow suit. We're goldfish, and it's like, okay, if it's easy, it's easy. We'll do it. If it's hard, we'll be more inclined to find a way out of it, and we can do that with all this stuff too. And then that goes to say, again, once it's introduced, like we all had the cakes and whatever, we are more intrigued to do it. On a scientific, the properties of sugar, it does sound better the next day. You need it. You go, oh, okay, this is what I used to energize myself yesterday. Now I'm craving it. That's why when people get serious and cut out sugars and carbs, you have that headache, you have that lull, you get that low energy period. That's what we're competing against all the time. So yeah, we had a couple days this weekend where we let it kind of all hang loose, which is fine, which is great, but we need to really be mindful of that and be like, okay, well, this means Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are going to be a little tough. I am going to have to grind it out a little, but then come Thursday, Friday, I'll be normal again. It's not going to be hard. I'm not going to think about it. But it's almost like when we don't anticipate the challenge, don't anticipate the fact that, oh, this shit's going to sound good again now for the next 42, 48 hours, then it becomes bad. You go, why am I just can't stop. I just keep eating, and I sit down at night, and I have the cookies, and I have the cake, and I don't know why I can't. It's like, it's not for no reason. It's because you reintroduced it to your body, so now you want it more. You're craving it more. It's science. So you got to tough through it, just like you did the first time, just like you did 3 weeks ago when you were on the straight and narrow before Easter. All you did was kind of just reintroduce it, so it's not going to be as hard, but you do have to muck through the water a little bit for a couple days. But that's why that workout's so important, to get back into it. It starts you go, whoo, I did something hard and challenging. We're back. My body feels good. I'm not sleepy. I'm not sluggish. I don't have a headache anymore. Whatever, we feel after days of either bad diet or drinking or staying up too late or you name it. Just kind of a change in our schedule.
I always say, the holiday itself, whether it's 4th of July, Easter, Christmas, New Year's, Halloween, it is one day. So if it's one day that you're celebrating and you want to live a little bit, don't beat yourself up for celebrating the moment. You don't want to go back and 6 months down the line and go, crap, I really missed out on carrot cake because I didn't eat it on Easter.
Right.
But it's what happens the 3 to 4 days after the fact that screw you up long term. So if you enjoyed the holiday, don't beat yourself up for it. But again, when the holiday is over at the stroke of midnight, it's what you do that following Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday going forward that either keeps you on track or completely deviates from you being on track. So if you had some fun on Easter or had a bunch of family over or went to see a bunch of family, you're a human being. You can enjoy those moments. That's why you work so hard in the gym year round. So you don't have to feel guilty when you do enjoy yourself. But if one day turns into 2 and 2 turns into 3, and you're like, I've been eating leftovers at my house and candy for the past 2 weeks, this is your little gentle reminder to cut the cord and get yourself right back on track.
This is a red zone. Everybody picture the calendar. This is a red zone. You cannot afford right now to take a step back and start cheating and skimping out on your workouts. This is not the time. There might be a time, but it's not right now. This is important. This is a huge red zone to get back on track heading into the summer. You got to do it now. You haven't been working all year to stop now. If you started in January and you're on the fitness path, this is one of those mountains. It's the Easter bump, the Easter egg. Can't do it. Got to get back on track.
If you're filling up on candy and shit for 2 weeks, and then you're like, okay, Memorial Day weekend's coming up in a month, a little over a month. So that you might live a little bit.
What happens?
And then you got Mother's Day, Father's Day. You got the 4th of July. It's like you can play that game for eternity and keep going like, oh, I got leftover this and and you're never going to get in shape. Yeah. So eventually you have to go enjoy the moment, enjoy the 24 hours.
Then it's wedding season, and you got open bars, and then it's patios are open, so you go out to eat, and you go sit out on a patio and get a bucket of beer. You should do all of those things. It's not that's the 10%. The 90% of our life happens Monday through Friday, where we're grinding it out and doing the stuff we don't want to do, whatever. That's normal in any aspect, not just the gym world. So, but it's coming. So you gotta you can't start it early, right? And this is a little bump. This is kind of, I'm really pondering this calendar idea. I might try to make it. I might try to make in a perfect world, these are the biggest roadblocks of a year. I wonder if I could come up with something. That'd be fun.
Green zones, red zones, yellow zones.
Yeah, like this is, the trends are very obvious. As being gym people for so long and knowing when when the gym is busy and when the gym is quieter, it's very easy to see, and also obviously our own human nature of feeling. It's very easy to see the things and the start of the things that lead to lulls, that lead to people kind of taking their foot off the gas in the gym. It's interesting.
Agreed.
Maybe we can come up with something. But this is one. If you're hearing this podcast, good for you. Now get to the gym. Go do what you have been doing. You gotta. This week's huge.
Do your thing. Now, should you need anything to help you get in shape, if you had too much candy, if you had too much crap, head to core4supplements.com. We got everything under the sun. Protein, sleep gummies. Torch, our newest supplement, is freaking awesome. If you haven't gotten it yet, please get your hands on it. You will thank me later. It has an appetite suppressant in it, so you're not always craving all the junk inside your house. And boosts your metabolism, makes you feel good, wakes you up, gives you energy. I'm on it right now, and you wouldn't even know.
Wow.
But I know. I know. But that is all, peoples. Have a great rest of your day. Have a productive post-Easter week this week. Make sure you lock it in so that way you can keep the ball rolling for the weeks after. Love you, peoples. Have a great week, and we shall see you next week.
Bye-bye. Go Pistons.
Bye. Go Pistons.